DreAllDay.com.
How do you stay positive every day is the question from It's Jay Mahal. It's something actually we're about to get into. So everybody who's tapping the screen right now, I appreciate you tapping the screen for the hearts. Please swipe to the right and share this on your Twitter feeds and your Facebook feeds right now. Let people know the topic that we about to share, 1% of doubt and you're out. And the first thing that I want to talk about is a story, heart attack, definitely. Is a story that came from, I actually told this story when I was in Toastmasters. I don't know if y'all know what Toastmasters is, but it's a public speaking volunteer organization. And one of my first speeches in Toastmasters, I told this story. It's about this guy named Hernando Cortez. He was a conqueror down in Mexico. They conquered the Incan Empire. And I don't know if any of you heard this story, but all of you have heard the phrase, burn the boats. All of you familiar with that phrase or heard it before? Burn the boats. I'm going to tell y'all where that story actually comes from and what it means and how that all ties into 1% of doubt, you're out. All right, so Parth has heard of it. The different sizes of snaps, well, they're adjustable. So they're all different sizes because you can adjust them. So here's the thing. When we're talking about burn the boats, this is the story. So this guy, Hernando Cortez, there was this empire down in what is now Mexico. And people knew that there was a whole bunch of gold and riches to be had in this empire. There's a whole bunch of gold buried there, right? A whole bunch of gold in the Incan Empire. But the thing is, the Incan Empire was protected by this mean, fierce crew of warriors who would kill you and then they would eat you. They would eat you for dinner. They would literally eat your flesh after they killed you. So army after army after army tried to come into what is now Mexico and try to take over that empire so they could get all the gold, but nobody succeeded. Nobody succeeded because they would just get beaten by these warriors and they would get killed and it just wouldn't work. What's up, stripper plug? So army after army came, people would come, but they would never come back because they would get killed by these crazy warriors, right? So there's this one conqueror, his name was Hernando Cortez. He brought his crew over there. They had a bunch of boats. They bought all their boats over to Mexico. They got off on the coast of Mexico and they start planning out how they're going to go fight these warriors and how they're going to be the ones who beat them and get all the gold. Now, Hernando Cortez understood that the number one problem, the Incan Empire, well, Peru, Mexico, I think this is the Mexico story. So I don't know if it doesn't even matter. But anyway. So Hernando Cortez's army is about to go in to fight, right? The Aztecs, right? So the Hernando Cortez's army was about to go in to fight and get this empire, get all the gold and all the riches that were to be had in what is now Mexico. And like the night before the fight, night before they were to go into battle, he brought his whole army together. He brought his whole army together and he wanted to give them, a pep talk, kind of like you do before a football game where the coach gives a pep talk and everybody gets all hype and rowdy and then they go rush into battle ready to kill or be killed. So when he goes into this last pep talk to give to his army, you know what he told them? He said to them, listen, all our boats that we have that were sitting out in the harbor that we can take to go back home, we sunk the boats. We sunk all the boats because they say burn the boats, but the real story is they actually put holes in the boats and made the boats sink. So they sank all of their boats on purpose. So Hernando Cortez had his people put holes in the boats and all their boats sank. So he told his army right before the battle, he said, listen, we don't have any boats to go back home. There is no turning back. Even if we wanted to, we can't go back home. There's no way for us to get out of here. The only way we ever go back home again is what he said to his army. The only way we ever go back home again is if we take their boats back home. What's going on, Anna Terenzi? He said the only way we go back home is if we take their boats. Otherwise, we're done. We're either going to die on this land or we're going to kill them, get all the riches, all the gold, and we'll take their boats with us back to our homeland. That's the only way we'll ever see our family, our wives, our kids ever again. What's going on, Avante Alberto, checking in from Mexico. What's up to everybody who is in? Make sure y'all swipe and share right now. This is Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay. We telling the story of burning the boats. So he told his army that we have no way to go back home. Our only way to succeed here is to kill these guys and win, because if we don't kill them, they're going to kill us and it's over. So what do you think happened in that fight? Now, I'm sure since I'm telling this story, all y'all got a pretty good idea. What's up, Brittany Bo, checking in from Texas? I think all you had a pretty good idea of what happened in that story. They went in the fight and they finally became the first group of warriors to actually win. What's going on, Messi MMA? They actually took over. Exactly. They took over. They got all the riches, and Hernando Cortez became a famous name because of the fact that him and his army actually defeated those guys, got all the gold, got all the silver. But the point of the story is not a history lesson. This is about burning the boats. What's up, Jesus the God? SI, we talking about burning the boats. We talking about 1% of doubt, you're out. So just listen to what I'm saying here. So the point of the story is this. When they gave, what's going on, Ahmed Dika, when he gave his people no choice, when he said our back is against the wall, their back was literally against the wall of the sea, because we can't go swim, they gonna come catch us and kill us, or we gotta go kill them. When he told them they had no way out, they could not have not even a smidgen of doubt about themselves. Because listen, when you don't have no boat, you don't have any way to turn back and go back, you have no choice but to go all the way in on what you're doing. So if they had went into that fight, they went into the battle, let's say they started losing, and it just didn't look good for them, you know what they would have did? You know what they would have did? They would have said, you know what, let's turn around, let's go get on our boats and go back home, because we can't beat these guys. But guess what? When they had no boats, they didn't have the option of turning around and going back home. So when they fought knowing that we're either going to get killed in this battle or we have to kill them. There is no turning back. The only way out is to go through. And when we get to this point of 1% of doubt, you're out. Exactly. That's a great way to increase morale. When people have no way out, they will fight like hell. Any of you ever seen an animal that gets cornered? Like an animal, either you're chasing it or it thinks you're chasing it, and it gets backed into a corner. It doesn't have anywhere else to run. What does the animal do? The animal decides, you know what? Now it's time to fight. Now the animal starts baring its teeth. It starts growling at you. It might be a little poodle. But when it thinks it's being cornered and it has no way out, what does the animal immediately do? It turns around and is like, all right, well, I'm going to go down fighting. Like, you're going to have to kill me or I'm going to kill you, but ain't nowhere else for me to run. And it could be a little mouse. It'll do the exact same thing. That's what animals do. And guess what humans are? We are animals. So when you give a human being no way out, no way to turn back, you'll see a fight out of a human being that you've never seen out of them before. And it's not necessarily a physical fight or necessarily even meaning that they had to be aggressive in a negative way. But it means when you have no doubt that there is no other option, you will fight and you will make things happen. So let me give you the story of another story that I'm going to give you that's a little bit more contemporary. I was watching this video about this back in the 90s when we used to have these tapes called VHS tapes. Y'all know what VHS tapes are? I know what a VHS tape is, but a lot of y'all might not know. Y'all might only know video links and DVDs, but a VHS tape. It was this VHS tape about the best dunkers in basketball. And one of the guys they was talking about was Charles Barkley. And for those of you who don't know, remember Charles from when he actually played? Yeah, like the N1 mixtapes, right? What's going on, Antonio 134? When Charles Barkley played, he was one of the fiercest dunkers out there. Like, you think about Blake Griffin, but you add a few pounds and even more mean. So yeah, hell yeah, the throwback VHS tape. Exactly. So Charles Barkley was one of the guys they were talking about on his tape, and they was just talking about guys who just dunk on people all the time. And Charles used to do that like crazy. If y'all never seen Charles when he played, go look up some Charles Barkley videos from back when he was with the Sixers. Yes, exactly, the black rectangular shaped tapes. So anyway, one of the things they asked Charles, they was like, Charles, what is the mentality that goes into you dunking on people so much? What is it? I know you can jump high, I know you're strong, I know you have height, but what is it that makes you dunk on people so much? And Charles Barkley said, the number one thing about dunking on people is this. It's about having supreme confidence in yourself. It's about having so much confidence in yourself. And One Love said Barkley was 300 pounds in high school. I heard that. He says that in his books. But he said it's about having such a high level of confidence in yourself that there is not even 1% of your mind believes that anybody can stop you or anybody can get in your way. I remember when I was young, we used to play basketball. Like, you know how people can have their own courts that they keep in the garage and they roll it out and you play in the backyard or in the driveway, the basketball court? Yeah, Charles Barkley's not that much taller than me. But my man, he had, like, this guy on my block, he had a basketball court behind his house. So we would go play on his court and we would lower the rim so everybody could dunk on it, things like that. Then this dude named Willie, he was the same age as me. But whenever we used to play on that court, Willie used to just dunk on all of us. So he just we would get out the way. He would stop dunking on us because we stopped trying to stop him. So he'd just be dunking on us all the time. And me and Willie was about the same height. And I said, Will, why do you keep dunking on people? What are you doing that I'm not doing? Because he didn't jump that high. The court was lowered, so we all could dunk. But why was he dunking on all of us while none of us could dunk on anybody? What was it? So I said, Will, what is it that lets you dunk on everybody while none of us is dunking on nobody? And he said, Dre, just act like they're not even there. Just dunk it like they're not even there, and they'll get out the way. And he was absolutely right. So the whole point of this scope, the reason that I titled it 1% of doubt, you're out, is that y'all have to understand that the difference between that highest level of success and all the rewards you want and somebody being really good but not getting all the rewards is just a 1% difference. And I talked about this in the YouTube video many years back. For those of you who don't watch me on YouTube, this video is on my YouTube channel where I was talking about, I read this blog by Gilbert Arenas. Y'all remember Gilbert Arenas, Agent Zero? He retired a couple years back. But Gilbert Arenas was in his blog, when he blogged on NBA.com, he was talking about the fact that people are wondering what was it that made him so good, because that was the year where he was like an MVP candidate. And while he's writing in his blog, he said, the difference between me, somebody who's like an NBA All-Star, max contract, averaging 30 points a game, and the average player at my position who plays in this same league, the only difference between me and that person is just a certain level of belief. What you got to understand, what he said in his post is that what you got to understand is because the night before they had played the Lakers, and Nick Young was on his team and the Wizards, and they played the Lakers, and Kobe Bryant was playing, and Nick Young and Kobe played the same position. They're teammates now, but back then they were playing against each other. And Gilbert Arenas said, y'all know Nick Young, right? He said Nick Young could do everything that Kobe can do physically. He has all the physical abilities that Kobe Bryant has. And he was absolutely right. He's still right to this day. Nick has all the physical abilities that Kobe has. So what's the difference between Kobe Bryant and Nick Young? The difference between the two of them is the way that they think. The difference in them is the mentality. And Gilbert said, this is the thing. Yes, my background is as a professional athlete, South Bay Square, played 9 years overseas. You can see all that on my website. And he said, this is what Gilbert said. He said the only difference between me, who's scoring 30 and I'm one of the top point guards in the league, is just the fact that I see myself differently than the average point guard who's averaging 15 points and 5 assists a game. We both got a very close level of skill. The skill level between people at the highest level like that is a very, very small difference. It's not a skill thing. And a lot of people think it's a skill thing. They're like, oh, well, Steph Curry hit these threes, and Steph Curry got more handle than this guy, and this guy got more hops, and this guy's taller, and this guy runs faster. That's not the difference, ladies and gentlemen. That is not the difference. And I'm not talking about basketball. I'm talking about anything in life. I don't care if you are a salesperson, if you work at the post office, if you make YouTube videos, if you write books. The difference between the people who are really, really, really good and the person who is the best is less than 1% of a difference. It is a less than 1% difference. And One Love said Kobe's work ethic is second to none. It's interesting when people talk about Kobe's work ethic being second to none as if they've been in the gym and followed Kobe around. Only thing we know about somebody's work ethic is what we hear. Now, am I saying that Kobe doesn't have great work ethic? I'm not saying that, but what I'm actually saying is I don't actually know. I ain't never spent a day with Kobe. I never watched one of Kobe's workouts. I've never spent a week with him. I don't know what he does all off season. All we know is what we hear. Now, is that to say that everything that we hear is false? No. But when people talk about somebody else's work ethic who they don't know, that always makes me curious. How do you know that this work ethic is so great if you've never actually been there and seen it, besides what they put out on YouTube or NBA.com or in a magazine? But anyway, that's a whole different conversation. Understanding what I'm saying is 1% of doubt you're out means this. If your belief is at 100% and you lose that 1% to go down to a 99, you're not going to lose 1% of the rewards. You're not going to lose 1% of the. You're not going to lose 1% of the material resources that you get for the fact that you were the number one person. You're not going to lose any of that stuff. You're not going to lose 1% of it. You're going to lose about 50% of it. And if you think about it, Tony Robbins talks about this in one of his tapes. The difference between excellence and outstanding is such a very tiny difference that most people don't even notice it. But the difference in the rewards between the person who gives that last 1% and the person who doesn't is a huge difference, where you can't even remember one name, but you know the other name. Like, a lot of people didn't know the name until the car came out. People didn't know the name of Tesla, but everybody knew Edison. Well, in actuality, if you read the history books, from what I've read, Tesla was actually a better scientist than Thomas Edison. But the fact is, Tesla wasn't known because he didn't have that last 1%. Now, that wasn't necessarily he wasn't giving effort. It's because he didn't have that 1% of making his name known, attaching his name to things, making sure he had all the paperwork and the patents and the copyrights and things like that. And they say that a lot of things that Tesla actually invented, he never actually got credit for, because people went and stole the patents from him after he died, because he didn't have the business side of it right. Where Edison wasn't even that great of a scientist, but he was a great salesperson. He knew how to market and brand himself. So when things came out, he had his name all over it, even though it wasn't even him that did all the inventing and creating. But that's a whole other story that you can look up on your own time. Look up Robert Greene's books. He talks about that all the time. So the thing is, we talk about 1% of doubt you're out, ladies and gentlemen. If you lose 1% of belief in what you're doing, 1% of confidence, 1% of this, that nobody can F with me and what I'm doing, when you lose that 1%, you're going to lose about 60% of the rewards, 60% of the benefits, 60% of the resources that come your way, 60% of the attention, 60% of the whatever, fill in the blank or whatever it is that you want to get out of your work. you have to have 100% belief. And if you think about those warriors with Hernando Cortez and the story I opened up this scope with, if they had 1% of doubt in what they were doing, they would have got killed. I wouldn't be telling this story. They wouldn't have created what now is Mexico. Who knows what would have happened. None of that would have taken place if any of those warriors had 1% of doubt. If he would have not burned those boats and they had in the back of their minds, like, all right, if this starts going the wrong way, I could just turn around and go home. If they had that in their mind, they would have died. There was no way anyone would have beaten that army in their own land, defending their stuff. Understand, the army that they had to beat was defending something that belonged to them. It's not like they was taking back something that was stolen. It was theirs. You had to go in there and take something in somebody's own land that belongs to them. You can't have any doubt, because when you come on somebody else's land, try to take something that's theirs, they gonna fight like hell, because listen, you're trying to take something that's mine. The only way you're gonna be able to do that is have 100% confidence and no doubt. You must be 100% doubt-free, 100% confidence, 100% belief. What we talking about, Princess D at 93, we talking about belief, we talking about doubt, we talking about having 100% confidence in what it is that you're doing. How you can actually create, cultivate, and keep that mindset and apply it to every single thing that you do in life. Now, I'm going to take some questions in a second. What's going on, Alfonso? Brittany Bowe said true. Yes, definitely. So I will take a couple questions here, y'all. So we're talking about confidence. We're talking about belief. We're talking about mindsets. These are three of the things that I specialize in. I work with people on these all the time. I write about it all the time. I make videos about it all the time. James said, would you rather be successful or have all the money in the world? There's no either or, James. It's both. I want to be successful and have all the money. But successful means you're going after goals. So your goal could be have all the money. When is this going to be on YouTube? Probably in the next 3-4 weeks. What do I do, Princess Dia? I am an empowerment expert. So what I do is empower people to think better, speak better, live better, and be better. I do that through professional speaking. I do it through professional sports. I do it through these videos here. Also on YouTube. I got 4,000 on YouTube, 3,000 posts on my website. I've written 5 books. I'm a coach and consultant for people when it comes to confidence, success, belief, marketing, branding, social media, building up their business, entrepreneurship. So I do all of that stuff. Everything I do is part of my business. No, I don't speak Russian. Only language I speak is English, and I speak work on your gaming, whatever you want to call that. Why do I think people won't commit and burn the ships? Because it's scary to do that. It's scary to commit and burn the ships, because if you lose, then it's over. That's what people are thinking in their mind. They're like, all right, if I burn the boats, I have no way out. That means I either got to win or I'm going to die. And most people are so focused on the dying part that they don't ever want to commit. So you got to be willing to commit. You got to be willing to say, listen, either this is going to work or it's not going to work. Like 50 Cent, what was 50 Cent's album called? Get Rich or Die Trying. And what did he do? He got rich. And it's not that there were a whole bunch of people who said get rich or die trying and died. We'll never know because we don't know their names. But guess what? Exactly. Just what G.M. just said. High risk, high reward. All of you already know that. Everybody already knows that. High risk, high reward. We know that when you push all your chips into the middle of the table, you have no choice but to either win big or lose everything. If you put yourself in that position, you'll probably win big, because guess what? Dying, none of you has died yet. All of you, however old you are, you have survived for 20 years, 40 years, 35 years. You got 25 years of success when it comes to surviving. So if you were to put all your chips in the middle of the table, I guarantee you will probably make it through. You'll probably make it through to the other side, and you'll be able to tell everybody like, yo, I just do this. I did it. It worked. Exactly. 19 years of success. 17 years of success. However old you are, you got X number of years of success when it comes to not dying. So if you were to go all in on anything, you'll probably survive again. Part G, 16 years of success. Listen, if you did anything successfully for 16 years, wouldn't you have a high level of belief that you could keep doing it for at least another week, another month, another year? Of course you would. If you've been doing it for 40 years, you've been doing it for 35 years. Exactly. You could do this stuff. 28% of people die before they retire. I don't know about that stat. So South said, why don't we do what needs to be done, since we all know what it's really going to take? It's fear. The reason most people don't do things is fear. It usually always boils down to fear. Doubt is fear. Insecurity is fear. Skepticism is fear. All that stuff just boils down to fear. If you just drill down into what people say, it all comes down to fear. People just being afraid of the alternative to winning. How do you overcome fear? All right, what do you have fear of? It depends on what we're talking about. One great book about fear. There's one thing y'all realize about me is that I'm not going to present myself as if I had the final word on every single topic. Robert Greene wrote a book with 50 Cent called The 50th Law. It's all about fear. If you read that book, that's a great resource when it comes to dealing with fear. It's 10 chapters, not a long book. one of my top 5 books of all time actually is The 50th Law by Robert Greene and 50 Cent. So anyone here who wants to get a resource, a really good resource when it comes to dealing with fear, read the book The 50th Law by Robert Greene. Any big events coming up, you watching a big event right now. Hustler's Ambition, definitely. Hustler's Ambition, one of my favorite 50 songs. So I will take a couple questions if anybody got any questions. We're talking about doubt, belief, confidence, dealing with fear, putting yourself, going all in on whatever it is you're doing. If you're watching me for the first time, my name is Dre Baldwin, also known as DreAllDay. You swipe to the right, share this. Make sure y'all follow me because I do this every day, usually multiple times per day. How do you get rid of the fear of talking to girls? I got 2 videos on my YouTube channel where I talk about talking to females, part 1 and part 2. So go look that up on my YouTube channel. You'll see the 2 videos. Am I going to do another one later? Possibly. I don't know. I don't always know if I'm going to do another one, but as long as you follow me, you'll see. What's up, Marjorie Van DK? Where you checking in from, Marjorie? Thing with these vids is we got to listen to them repeatedly. Exactly. Well, that's why I put them on YouTube. So those will be on YouTube. Trey Tom said, it's been a minute with DreAllDay TV. Well, it's kind of cool in Florida right now. I ain't trying to walk in the streets. You checking in from Holland? Shout out to everybody in Holland. What's one of the cities in Holland? I don't even know the cities in Holland. Work on your game hats in stock. Yes, they are. They're at hoophandbook.com. I don't know if I'm going to be doing Amsterdam. Amsterdam's in Holland. All right, shout out to Amsterdam. DreAllDay TV is when I'm walking the streets and talking to people, but the thing is, it's kind of cold in Florida. And when I say cold, I mean the low 70s. I'm not walking outside in the low 70s. It's too cold for me. So when it get back up to the 80s, maybe. James said, can you see the front of the hat? Yeah, if you go to hoophandbook.com, look up hats, you'll see pictures of everything. Those are pictures of the actual merchandise. All right, so we're gonna. What's going on, Nessan Lexi? What's going on? How you feeling? Where you checking in from? Am I a YouTuber? I am the YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm the YouTuber. If you go to youtube.com, look up my name, Dre Baldwin. I got 4,000 plus videos there. I'm gonna publish at least 10,000 videos on YouTube. All right, she's checking in from Washington. Shout out to everybody in Washington. Is that Washington State or Washington the city? Where am I going for Thanksgiving? To the top. That's where I'm going. Where you going? It's 26 degrees in Washington State? Yeah, see, that's crazy. I ain't doing no 26 degrees, not unless somebody paying me for it. All right, we got Chicago here. What's up, Mateo? Said, come back to Philly, Dre. You don't know what cold is. No, I'm good. I'll just take your word for it, Malik. I can look it up on the internet. I can see what the temperature is. What am I going to eat for Thanksgiving? I don't know. I haven't thought about that yet. It's not important to me at this moment. All right, so we're going to wrap up this Periscope stream right here, everybody. Again, my name is Dre Baldwin. If you want to read my first book, it's called Buy a Game. You can get it on my website for free. Just go to DreAllDay.com, put in your email address. When the pop-up comes up, we'll send you that book immediately. Am I related to Doug Baldwin? No. Doug Baldwin's trying to claim he's related to me, but I'm denying it, so no. It's -3 degrees Celsius in Hamburg. That's crazy. Yeah, they are crazy. They must be conditioned to do it, definitely, but not me. Not me. I don't even like running outside when it's 70 degrees. That's too cold. But anyway, we wrapping this one up. I told y'all, as I said, you can get my book. My first book's called Buy a Game. You can read it for free on my website. I got some more free stuff I'm going to be giving out. As soon as I get done editing this stuff, it will be up on my website. So we out of here for now. Make sure y'all follow me, DreAllDay. So the next time I come on this Periscope, you can catch it in full. Shout out to everybody who watched this on replay and everybody on YouTube. Any more scores today? You mean scopes? Maybe I might do another scope today. Definitely. Rashad, Jeannie. Yeah, definitely. All right. Work on your game, everybody. Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. We out. Thanks for watching this video. I'm sure you were entertained. Make sure to stay connected with me on all your favorite social networks. Twitter and Periscope at DreAllDay. Instagram, Dre Baldwin. Facebook /Work on Your Game. You can bookmark my YouTube channel by subscribing, of course, and the website is workonyourgame. That's .me, workonyourga.me. And of course, my homepage is my website, DreAllDay.com, so you can know exactly what I'm doing, exactly when I'm doing it, and how you might be able to be involved. Work on your game.